there have been many great players in the history of the NBA who have made significant contributions to the NBA division. In this video, we will see how the most popular NBA players have changed over the years. If there is a name that's synonymous with basketball, then it has to be His Airness, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. A cultural icon and one of the most celebrated basketball stars, Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. A 4-time NBA champion and a 5-time league MVP, the King LeBron James is currently the oldest player in the NBA, is still and will be one of the biggest basketball stars of all time. When talking about the best NBA players of all time, there are always two names that always come up: LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Outside the two, there is a clear third-place finisher, and that is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We are not sure if anyone will ever top Russell's 11 NBA titles. By the end of his career, Bill Russell had managed to collect an impressive 21,620 boards, and if you were going up against he in any kind of duel, you weren't going to win. Wilt Chamberlain currently holds the record for most rebounds in the league, finishing his NBA career with an impressive 2,818 returns from the glass. He's considered by many as the most dominant big man to ever play the game. Magic Johnson played the game at a different frequency, and many at times his on-court performance was likened to a conductor guiding an orchestra. The no-look passes, behind-the-back dribbles, and flashy dunks made him a cultural icon. Past the looks and the physique, Larry Bird was a relentless scorer with a killer mentality. He was also one of the best trash talkers the league has ever seen. Many people regard Larry Bird as the greatest player to ever don the Boston Celtics. The Black Mamba was not only ruthless on the court, but he also had a killer mentality. The memories of his most outstanding performances will live on forever, with Kobe earning 2 Finals MVP, as well as being the 4th highest scorer in the NBA. Tim Duncan, aka the Big Fundamental, is one of just 5 players to tally more than 25,000 points and 15,000 rebounds. He also has 5 NBA championships and all defensive team selections to his name. Shaquille O'Neal brought a dominance to the court that was hard to deal with. To put it plainly, he was simply massive, a ball-playing giant. When he was at his best, it was terrifying for opposition defenses, who tried to create entire systems in their attempts to stop him. The #1 shot blocker ever in the league, Hakeem "The Dream" Olajuwon was more than just your typical big man. Throughout his impressive NBA career, he managed to win 2 NBA titles and 2 Finals MVPs, which shows just how good of a big game player he was. Oscar Robertson made triple-doubles cool, becoming the first player in the league to get one. He was a player who could do just about everything. He finished his career with 12 All-Stars, an MVP, and an NBA championship. Stephen Curry is just one of the few players who have greatly influenced the way the game is played in the modern era. Curry is the best three-point shooter in the history of the NBA. He is also the most successful free throw player in the history of the league, averaging well above 90%. You can call him KD, the Slim Reaper, Easy Money Sniper, or simply Kevin Durant. Just like LeBron James, Kevin Durant has been a dominant force in the NBA for many years. He also averages over 30 points per game in his NBA Finals appearances. Arguably the best shooting guard of the 60s, Jerry West is widely known as the man who ultimately became the NBA logo. 14 All-Stars tells its own story, an amazing career, averaging 27 points per game. Dr. J is a player who needs no introduction. His immense popularity saw him grace popular magazine covers, newspapers, and comic books. He was simply the most famous basketball player in the 70s. Dirk Nowitzki is still loved in Dallas, and rightly so. He helped them to an NBA championship and was even awarded Finals MVP. Not only that, but he also has 1 MVP, 12 All-NBA selections, 14 All-Stars on his resume. One of the best trash talkers the league has ever since, Kevin Garnett was not only physical, but also quite brilliant around the glass. He is the only NBA player ever to average at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists per game for 9 consecutive seasons. Karl Malone won 2 NBA MVP awards at a time when some of the greatest players in the history of the league. Malone averaged over 20 points per game every season. Those are crazy numbers to maintain for 17 seasons. One of the best defenders in NBA history, Scottie Pippen was the best sidekick in NBA history. Pippen had success beyond the Bulls too. He won 6 NBA championships and was named to the All-NBA team 7 times. Charles Barkley is now known as one of the most entertaining sports pundits out there. He is currently considered by many as the best power forward of all time, and one of the greatest NBA players of all time. David Robinson was an incredible physical specimen who dominated on both sides of the court. The Admiral picked up an MVP in 1995, but it wasn't until the end of the decade that he won his first title. With Kawhi Leonard on your team, you are more likely to win. That is simply a fact. 2 NBA titles with 2 Finals MVPs made it impossible to leave him off of this list. He's one of only 3 players to win Finals MVP with more than one team. Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the most powerful players playing in the league, and when he is at his best, he is impossible to stop. His athleticism is truly crazy, but what sets him apart is his work ethic. Dwyane Wade owns almost every Miami Heat franchise record. Don't believe us? Here's a quick list. Wade has the most points, games, assists, steals, shots made, and shots taken. At just 6 feet, Allen Iverson demonstrated an amazing basketball IQ throughout his career when battling with the NBA's big men. He was one of the most difficult players to play against ever during the 2001 season. Chris Paul has carved out an amazing career. He has also been selected in 11 NBA All-Star teams, 10 All-NBA teams, and 9 NBA All-Defensive teams. Not bad for the player, who is still playing excellent basketball. John Stockton's consistency is the reason he regularly makes lists like this. Many people reckon that he was never the best point guard in the league, but he has both the most assists and steals in NBA history. The Beard is also another phenomenal player to make this list. Despite being in the NBA for 14 years, James Harden currently sits 3rd on the all-time three-point scoring list behind Ray Allen and Stephen Curry. As one of the best players of his era, Steve Nash showed the way forward to future players with his innovative style and technique. There is little doubt in the fact that he is a legend of the game. Isaiah Thomas was not only controversial, but also loved to get under his opponent's skin. Despite being one of the smallest NBA players at the time, Zeke was a force to reckon with, winning 2 NBA titles and a Finals MVP trophy. It is hard to believe that Jason Kidd won only 1 championship in his illustrious career. You could argue that while playing, Kidd's basketball IQ was amongst the very best in the history of the league. Patrick Ewing's blocking game was the stuff of legends. Overall, he was a defensive dream to play with, and his stats back that up. He was pretty good offensively too, ranking inside the top 25 for points scored in the NBA history. It would be a crime to leave the first ever player to reach 20,000 career points. Bob Pettit was a power forward who could do battle with the best of them, but he was also able to show guile and poise at the rim. Bob Cousy is yet another Boston Celtics legend. Known as the Houdini of the hardwood, he finished career with 6 NBA titles and a reputation for being one of the best playmakers the game has ever seen. In his prime, Russell Westbrook was a force to reckon with and is often referred to as the king of triple-doubles. With the Clippers, he plays with a renewed level of energy and appears to have found his love for the game once more. Elvin Hayes was a beast who was a regular all-star and is just outside the top 3 in rebounds in the history of the league, with 16,279 for his NBA career. Nicknamed the Iceman, George Gervin was a player with immense style. His trademark move was the finger roll, and nobody did it better than Gervin. Barry is renowned for his performance in the 1975 Finals, where he won the MVP award. Barry is regarded by many as a Golden State Warriors legend, and will go down as one of the greatest players to ever play the game. One of the best centers and shot blockers of the modern era, Anthony Davis, popularly known as the Brow, is one of the few big men who can easily dominate on both ends of the floor. Reggie Miller was a lethal three-pointer shooter before the age of three-pointer shooters. He was one of those rare players who spent their entire career with one franchise. Over 18 years, that is incredible consistency. Gary Payton, also known as the Glove, is arguably one of the best defensive point guards ever, and the best player in the history of the Seattle Supersonics. He currently sits 4th on the most steals for the league. Only 3 players have scored more than 20,000 career points for the Boston Celtics. Paul Pierce is one of them, and the other 2 also feature on this list. In Boston's 2008 championship winning year, Pierce won the NBA Finals MVP. Clyde the Glide, as he was affectionately known, was a seriously good baller and clearly one of the best NBA players of all time. It is hardly surprising that he is considered one of the greatest shooting guards of NBA League. By the end of his illustrious NBA career, Dennis Rodman had won 5 NBA championships, 2 NBA Defensive Player of the Year awards, and 7 All-NBA defensive titles. Luka Magic is more than just a catchphrase. He is an influential player and one of the fastest rising stars in the NBA. In 2023, Doncic became the first player in the history of the game to score more than 60 points and 20 rebounds. Thanks for watching, my friends, and see you in the next video.